Hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome if you're sitting in here, if you're at home, if you decided to sleep in and you're watching it this afternoon or tomorrow. Whatever it is, we're really happy to have you here involved, whether virtually or not, for Youth Church. I hope you've had a great week. You're enjoying the lovely weather today. I'd also just really love to invite everyone we have a worship night happening tonight, so it will be filled with good music, a few nibbles, so we'd really love if you could come. It's here at 7 p.m. So welcome.
Basketball things. They're coming as no go.
I am living proof that your past does not need to define your future.
Some leaders are born. Most leaders are made. But we all have the opportunity to lead. The impact of our lives will one day be felt or forgotten. Before we can leave a legacy, we have to lead a legacy.
Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will.
So, ask yourself, what will your legacy be?
Happy Sabbath, everybody. Happy Sabbath, everyone at home. Thanks for joining us, everyone who could be here in person and everyone watching online. It's really cool to be here. And we're going to start with a few songs. So please join us as we sing the goodness of God.
Till you have been so, so good. Every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. My Jesus, my Savior, Lord, there is none like you. All of my days, I want to praise the wonders of your mighty love. My comfort, my shelter, tower of refuge and strength. Let every breath, all that I am, never cease to worship you. Shout to the Lord, all the earth, let us sing. Power and majesty, praise to the King. Mountains bow down and the seas will roar at the sound of your name. I sing for joy at the work of your hands. Forever I love you, forever I'll stand. Nothing compares to the promise I have in you. My Jesus, my Savior, Lord, there is none like you. All of my days, I want to praise the wonders of your mighty love. My comfort, my shelter, tower of refuge and strength. Let every breath, all that I am, never cease to worship you. Shout to the Lord, all the earth, let us sing. Power and majesty, praise to the King. Mountains bow down and the seas will roar at the sound of your name. I sing for joy at the work of your hands. Forever I love you, forever I'll stand. Nothing compares to the promise I have. Nothing compares to the promise I have. Nothing compares to the promise I have in you.
This next song is a personal favourite of mine because when I was younger, I remember my dad used to sing it to me when I was going to sleep. And so I've been brought up with this song my whole life. And I love the lyrics and I love the melody. So wherever you're watching this, or even if you're here listening to it, if you don't know the words, I'd love you to just close your eyes and hear the song and reflect on the words as well. I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice to worship you, oh my soul, rejoice, take joy, my King, in what you hear. Let it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ear. Sing, I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice to worship you, oh my soul, rejoice, take joy, my King, in what you hear. And let it be a sweet, sweet sound. And let it be a sweet, sweet sound. And let it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ear. Amen.
that you give us every day and show every day in the glorious sunshine and the beautiful flowers and the people that we meet. Please be with those who are suffering at the moment, whether it's in Ukraine or if it's in other places of strife. And please be with those who are also unwell, whether it's COVID or any other unfortunate disease. And I pray that you're with us today as we go and relax on the Sabbath or go to work during the week. And please be with the money that this offering goes to and put it to good use. Amen.
It's us. We're back again.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's like kind of crazy.
Yeah, wow. All right. So, no figs this time as well. But we still need our speakers. So, can we please have Chris and Jess here on the stage right now? Everybody, please clap for them.
Yeah. Applause.
Yeah.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
That's
Good?
great.
Good? Yes.
Let's just get right into it, because
Very cool.
you know we haven't been on the stage in a while, eh? So we're a bit shaky.
Yeah, yeah.
What we're gonna do for you guys is a bit of Bible trivia.
Oh, yeah.
See who is the best speaker realistically.
Who really knows what they're talking about?
Right.
Yeah. All right.
You can start, Aaron.
I can?
Yeah. I'll let you
That okay. All right. The way we're going to do this as well is if you know the answer, you got to buzz in, but there's no buzzer, so you got to say your name. So you just yell Chris or yell Jess, and whoever gets it first, we'll ask you what the answer is. Yeah, cool. So the first question is, what was Eve made from? Jess. Jess came in very quick there. What is your answer, Jess? Adam's rib. Let me just clarify. Yeah, that's correct.
That was amazing.
Nice. 1 point to Jess. Let's
Yeah,
go.
good clap. How many sons did Adam and Eve have?
Chris, in quick. What are we saying, Chris? How many sons?
We're going to lock in 3.
Three locked in.
Temporarily.
For
Ah.
an extra half point, can you name them all? Yeah, that was correct, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cain, Abel, and Seth.
Oh, let me check if that's right, actually. Yeah, that's right. I have
Very cool, very cool.
it. Okay. Since Ray doesn't have his phone up. Jesus healed a man named Bartimaeus. What was his challenge? What did he heal him from?
People in the audience trying to buzz in. That's not how it's going to work. We need the speakers.
We need the speakers.
What was his name, sorry?
Bartimaeus. Yeah, you think
Yeah,
we're tricky ones here, right?
It may or may not have had something to do with mud. Oh, Jess. Isn't it?
Yes, that is the correct
Very
answer.
cool, very cool, very
Yes,
cool.
very nice.
All right, we're going to get into sticky territory right now. So, the next question is, who was Methuselah's dad? Who was it? You guys are like, who's Methuselah? Methuselah, longest living man ever. Who was his dad?
We got Chris.
Chris.
Yeah, I got a low-key lock in Adam.
Adam. That is unfortunately incorrect. We can't pass it to Jess if you want to attempt that one, Jess. It is Enoch. What the heck? Hey, you are quite a big brainer. Wow. I did not think anyone was going to do that. That's very cool.
Okay. What was Abraham's name before he changed it?
Oh, Chris, quick.
Chris
quick.
is quick with that one.
Abram.
Oh, that is very correct. Want to give him a round of applause? Yeah.
I don't even know if we're keeping count at this point. I have no idea he's winning.
2-3?
There's a score, and someone's winning. We'll run back the clip later and figure out who's winning.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. The ones that are watching at home, you know the vibes.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a question. This is a very, I don't know if anyone will get it. It's a very niche question, but what bold prophet set a she-bear on a group of teenagers after they made fun of his alopecia?
Oh.
What prophet? Silence. Chris.
I think it was Elisha.
Oh, he thinks it was Elisha. There's claps from the audience. Let's get a check on that. It is correct. It is correct. It was Elisha. Elisha. It was a she-bear specifically that he set on those teenagers.
She-bear.
Because they made fun of his boldness. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, they did. They were like, what a boldy. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. What is the shortest book in the Bible by word count?
By word count.
Yeah, Riyadh, I said that.
Who knows this, by the way?
Yeah, does anyone in the audience know it? I am. Yeah, Jess?
Jess.
No, unfortunately.
Oh, not Jude. Good attempt, though.
I would have said New Old Testament too, but no idea. Not gonna.
It is 3 John.
Oh, the 3 John. That'll get
2
you.
John has the shortest book by verses.
Oh.
Fair enough.
Interesting. Tidbit there.
Yeah.
Didn't know I had that
Trust John to be nice and brief with it.
Mm.
Very cool, very cool. All right, we'll wrap it up. Last question. He's going with you.
You got a hard one or what?
Yeah.
Hey, good.
All right. So, John and James were the sons of Zebedee. We know this. Maybe we don't, but we do know. Who were Andrew and Simon Peter the sons of? Jess is buzzed in. James, that is unfortunately incorrect.
Hey, Chris.
I can't give you guys a clue. Oh, Chris is buzzed in.
Thunder.
The Sons of Thunder. That is also incorrect. I'm so sorry.
I'm pretty sure.
I'll give you a clue if you guys have one more attempt. It's the name of another character in the Bible.
Yeah,
A prophet, but this prophet is not their dad. He just has the same name as the prophet. Jess.
Yeah.
John. I'll give you that one because it was John or Jonah. But Jonah was what I was looking for. So I'll give it to Jess.
Okay.
I don't know, the translations are different. They don't have to transliterate and all those things. So it's either John or Jonah. But I'll give you John. All right.
All right, we're done now. You guys have seen us enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well done.
Good morning, church. Happy Sabbath. It's such a blessing to be able to be here with you today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jess Corker. I'm originally from Sydney, but a lovely Perth man by the name of Matthew Corker caught my attention, and here we are today, almost going on 1 year of marriage, so it was a happy ending in the end, but it's good to be able to be here with you guys. Let me just pray before I get into it. Please bow your heads. Dear Lord, please be with me today. Please speak through me to those who are joining us online and those who are here. Lord, I just pray that the message that you've given me is able to touch every person that hears it, and that you speak through me. Let they be your words, not mine. I pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Legacy. Albert Einstein thought up the revolutionary formula E equals mc squared. He changed the field of physics forever. He left a legacy. Martin Luther King Jr. was monumental in the American Civil Rights Movement and gave one of the greatest and most memorable speeches of all time. He left a legacy. Mother Teresa spent most of her life in India caring for lepers, the homeless, and those dying in the slums of Kolkata. She left a legacy. Marie Curie discovered the chemicals radium and polonium and was a pioneer in researching how radiation can be used to treat tumours. She left a legacy. Adolf Hitler was once referred to as a genius for his leadership qualities. Through his leadership, over 50 million people died. He left a legacy. Legacy. What legacy will you leave? When I first started taking on roles within the church I grew up in, I held on to the mantra, be the change you want to see in the world. I was all guns blazing, wanting to make a difference in my local church. I was going to make it more welcoming, more inclusive, more youth-focused. So I started out on my mission to fix the church. At the ripe old age of 18, I was going to change the world as we know it. I attended the World Changes Bible seminars. I jumped into leading out in youth ministry and then teen ministry at my church. I had this vision for what teens could be, and it came to light. I loved my time running teen ministry, and I set up someone to take over from me when I eventually left. For a little while, what I had worked so hard to develop continued to function. However, as time passed, things slowly reverted back into their old ways of how things used to be done. This legacy, this lasting change that I had so desperately wanted for the church had fallen short. I was gutted. I was mad. How could all my hard work end up creating no meaningful change or difference? This was supposed to be a lasting legacy. Why did I even bother? Legacy. A legacy is generally something that has been left, something precious that has been left to you. For example, this Bible. This is my great-grandmother's Bible. It is a legacy. It is something precious that connects me to someone I never even had the chance to meet. Flicking through it and seeing the verses she underlined and the pages she bookmarked, I get a glimpse into who she was. Leaving a legacy is a common concept. Everyone strives to leave their mark on the world, whether it be a good mark or a bad mark. Everyone wants to be remembered in some way. We want to generate something that outlives us and improves upon our society. Psychologist Erik Erikson terms this desire generativity. I know it's a big word, but bear with me. And he includes it as one of the stages in his theories of human development. While generativity begins in early adulthood, the need for generativity increases greatly in midlife. Highly generative people have been shown to be lower in anxiety and depression, have higher autonomy, have higher self-acceptance and life satisfaction. They're more likely to have successful marriages and close friends, are more open to differing viewpoints, generally possess leadership qualities, and the list goes on. I mean, who wouldn't want to be a generative person after hearing that list? However, Erikson explains that on the opposite end of this developmental stage is stagnation. Once people attain certain life goals such as marriage, children, and career success, they may become self-centered and self-indulgent. Adults who are experiencing stagnation are likely to show less interest in young people and focus more on what they can get from others than what they can give. In order to leave a legacy, we must lead a legacy. In John 13, Jesus is with his disciples in the upper room, celebrating Passover, the Last Supper. Jesus had finished his ministry to the people and is now spending his last few hours with his disciples. Jesus had announced to his disciples many times in the previous chapters that he was going to die. However, it is here, in this chapter, that Jesus really spells it out to them. Jesus washes the disciples' feet, and then they break the bread and drink the wine, remembering the Passover. Jesus announces that there is someone among the group that will betray him. And then, when that person had left, Jesus tells the remaining disciples his last will and testament, his legacy, what he's leaving to his disciples. In John 13, from verse 33, it says, "Dear children, I will be with you only a little longer. And as I told the Jewish leaders, you will search for me, but you can't come where I am going. So now I am giving you a new commandment. Love each other. Just as I have loved you, you should love each other. Your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples." In ancient Greek writing, the sentence structure is much like that of English. However, if there was a word that the Greek writers wanted to emphasize, they would put it at the front of the sentence, even if this made the sentence not sound quite right. For example, the sentence, "I love my great-grandmother's Bible." If I was a Greek writer and trying to emphasize the word Bible, the sentence would become, "Bible, I love my great-grandma's." Doesn't make a lot of sense. But in John 13, verse 34, John puts the word commandment at the beginning of the sentence. What Jesus is about to say isn't just a nice idea, but a command. Then the word new comes second in the sentence, showing that this commandment is different from any commandments that had been made previously. Leviticus 19, verse 18, commanded the Israelites to love the neighbors as themselves. And while this may sound similar to Jesus' commands to his disciple in verse 34, it's completely new, completely different. Jesus had modeled, displayed his love for his disciples in washing their feet. This was a job of a servant, but Jesus stepped in an act of love. A legacy is built from how you lead in your life, and Jesus led his life pouring love onto those around him. He healed the sick. He touched those who were diseased and who hadn't been touched in decades. He spoke to those who were shunned by society. So when Jesus says to his disciples, "Love one another as I have just now in this room loved you," he isn't calling for his disciples to go around and wash people's feet. No. He's commanding them to love others with a sacrificial love, an idea that was brand new. A legacy is an accumulation of the life you've led. And here in John 13, verse 34 to 35, we see clear as day what Jesus' legacy is. It is love. How will people know that we are followers of Christ? Through the way we love others. Jesus' love is a gift. It's a gift that connects us over 2,000 years later to Christ. It is something precious, priceless. Jesus led a life of love, and in doing so, he left a legacy of love for all who follow him. 7 years have passed since I first started serving in church, and what I have come to realize is that while what I set out to create as my legacy had failed, inadvertently, I had created a different legacy. You see, my sister was one of the teens at the church when I was leading out in teen ministry. I feel that my legacy to the church is her. She has grown to be a confident, strong woman of God whom I am so proud of. She used to catch her school bus and confidently explain her beliefs to classmates who did not believe the same things. Just last night, she planned and led out in her first Friday night program. At the age of 19, she's beyond what I ever thought or hoped for her. We don't know what our legacy will be. Only God knows. However, a legacy is created, good or bad, by the way we lead in our lives. So how will you lead?
Sorry, I'm just going to get myself organized. Alrighty. Can you guys hear me? Yep, perfect. Awesome. Okay. All right. Before I start, I'll just say a quick prayer. So just bow your heads with me. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in your sight. O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. All right. Good morning. Sorry, I'm just going to take this off. There we go. Okay. Good morning, Livingston Church. How are we today? Beautiful. I can never get over standing up and giving a speech. As much as I've been up here in the front in many different capacities, you can never get over that nervousness. So I just ask that you bear with me as I share this morning. Thank you to Jess and thank you to Brooke for the opportunity. And let's just get into it. So I've entitled my sermon, or the talk today, Legacy, the past, the present, and the future. So I want to start this morning by framing my topic around one verse. It's a very well-known verse, and I'm sure most of us here will be able to recite it by heart. And it is Jeremiah 29:11. It's on the screen, but if you guys have it in your Bibles, or if you have your own version or interpretation of it, you're more than welcome to read that. But it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Now, I've underlined the word future here because I want you guys to pay close attention to that. I want you to make a note of that and just put it up in the little pin board in your head because we'll come back to that. So what does this verse have to do with legacy? Have a think about that. So I want to also start by asking two questions. The first is a hypothetical. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when I say the word legacy? We've heard different, definitions or explanations of that, but to you, what does that mean? And for this next question, you can talk to the people next to you for a couple seconds. How would you like to be remembered? Or what legacy would you like to leave behind? Just briefly. If someone were to come up to you and say, "What's your story?" what would you say to them? Being the son of a former English teacher, I've developed a liking for defining and understanding words, as simple or as complex as they may be. However, in the spiritual context, I tend to overthink and define their definitions and how best to apply them to everyday situations, and this case is no different. To me, legacy is a word associated with three things. First, the past. The second is a name. And the third is the worth of that thing. It's either the name or an action. I do, however, want to put to you this morning that the word also incorporates a present and a future element. The thing is, we write our legacies every day. Our actions now shape the imprint we leave on others when we are no longer around. We often see this displayed out in real life at a funeral of an individual, when someone or family member gets up and says, they were the best person that ever lived because of X, Y, Z, which is fair. The good old Merriam-Webster dictionary defines legacy as a noun, something transmitted by or received from an ancestor or predecessor from the past. In other terms, it's defined as an inheritance. In its simplest form, a legacy is a gift. Often, we think that the term inheritance is associated with something physical, like money, property, a family heirloom, like a necklace or a ring, in Justice's case, a Bible. But in this instance, the inheritance I'm referring to is a name. So whose name? It's Jesus. Who is Jesus? He's the Son of God, right? He is God's heir. But Jesus makes us his co-heirs through him. So this part is our present. So remember how I said at the start that the word legacy incorporates the past, present, and future? His name is now our present. All right. That's all right. Do that. The term heirs of God really emphasizes our relationship with God the Father through Christ. As his children, we have an inheritance that can never perish, spoil, or fade away, and that's kept in heaven. In other words, because God has made us his children, we have full rights to receive his inheritance. I love how John 1, yes, it's there. John 1:12 puts this. But as many as received him, to them he gave the right to become children of God, even those who believe in his name. We are all his beneficiaries. God has given us the freedom of choice, and when we choose to become his sons and daughters, his heirs, that becomes our responsibility. The power of a name can shape one's legacy. Now that we are his co-heirs, our name becomes synonymous with his, and thus elevating our worth. He has given us that right. His name and story becomes ours, and we should move accordingly. Sorry. Yep. I'm not sure about you, but that's a big title to carry. How would you carry yourself if you were the son or daughter of someone important or famous? Use my own personal example here. As growing up, my dad was a pastor actually basically all my life, and in every place we've lived in, every church we've served in, I got the title the pastor's son or the pastor's kid before anything else. And that was something that annoyed me so much because I'm like, I have a name. I'm an individual. Don't associate with me with that. Because the next question that would come was, are you going to be a pastor like your dad? No. I am not defined by him. Little did I know that I actually was. With a sense of confidence and authority, right? That's how you would carry yourself if you were the son of or daughter of someone famous. Because I know I would. So why then is this not applicable to us in our relationship with God? We are forgiven. We are claimed, we are loved, and we are purpose. So what does purpose have to do with legacy? The thing is, this is our future. So we've set the foundation. We know what a legacy is. It's an inheritance, in this case, from God. We know that because of who Christ is and the fact that he has made us co-heirs, we are therefore carrying his name and the weight of it. So how are we going to walk in this newfound spirit? And what does it actually mean to lead a legacy? This is where the root word from earlier resurfaces. Lead infers action, either a present or a future one. In this case, I would say that leading implies to write, to shape, or to initiate. It is an active and continuous process in which we link our present and our future, because a legacy isn't formed in a day. God's work requires an active approach. It requires intentionality. After all, God is a purposeful God. So how can we apply this to us and our purpose as Christians here on earth? The first step is always the hardest one, but it's the step that catalyzes the process. The solution? It's faith. Underlying all of this is the fact that God is willing to lead and shape our purpose. We as humans like to have control. I guess it's in our nature. And the scariest place to reach in your journey is to accept the fact that we may not always have the answers, or we may not always see the path that we're being led on. But we have to trust that what he says is what he will do. We are simply the brush in which he uses to paint the picture of grace on the canvas of time. There's a philosophical quote that says, "Don't judge your greatness by your shadow at sunset." I thought that was amazing, so I'm just going to let that sit for a second. The thing is, God is the true one light that determines how far and wide your shadow's cast will be. The moment we realize that there's nothing we can humanly do to outshine him, the better things will be. We are to allow him to fill us and shine through us. We are to connect to the source of light so that we can reflect his character like the moon or a mirror. When we look at some of the great Bible characters, some of us might be a Gideon. We might possess the skills required, but lack the faith and simply need proof that the purpose God is calling us to is really for us. The reminder is that we don't get to determine that. We just need to be awakened to that reality and step into it. Some of us might be a Samuel, chosen from a young age, but we've had to learn to discern God's voice amidst the chaos. We should always be ready to listen and to act, That's a place I think we should all strive to be. Some of us might be a David. We may come from the simplest of backgrounds, maybe unfavorable conditions, but he can still shape us into a person after his own heart. And what about a Jonah? We may end up being his mouthpiece to carry the message of salvation to people who may need to hear it the most if we're willing to be used. See, like these great characters, God equips us all with the necessary tool set to accomplish his predestined purpose in our lives. Our task is to work with him to do so. The term legacy is an active noun. Yes, we all have our individual stories, but it's ultimately God that writes our legacy in our present if we allow him into the space to do so. So the underlying question is, how will you let God create your legacy? This isn't a question that I'm going to answer or to give you a solution, because there's no one-size-fits-all for this question. Your task is simply to say yes when he calls, and let him do the rest. Will you join him in that journey? Will you give the painter the brush? Thank you. I'll invite the band to come up and we'll do a benediction afterwards.
Thank you, Jess and Chris, for sharing a bit on legacy and what that looks like and means to you. When I think of legacy, a lot of things come to mind, but one thing in particular that I think all of you can relate to is the legacy that Jesus has left behind for us and the example and role model that he sets for us. And this next song talks a bit about that. So I'd love you all to stand with us as we finish worshiping this morning.
Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Holy, holy is he. Sing a new song to him who sits on heaven's mercy seat. Sing that again. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Holy, holy is he. Sing a new song to him who sits on heaven's mercy seat. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. With all creation I sing praise to the King of Kings. You are my everything, and I will adore you. Clothed in rainbows of living color, flashes of lightning, rolls of thunder. Blessing and honor, strength and glory and power be to you, the only wise King. Holy, holy
Andrew, one of the pastors here. I just wanted to say thank you very much to our young people who are building a legacy. It's good to see a few of them here today. And thank you to Jess and Chris. Another young person who's on our team is their associate pastor, Megan Hunter, and she's graduating from Avondale this weekend. So feel free to send her a text. Yeah, let's give her a clap. So yeah, feel free to send her a text this weekend saying congratulations, that's really good. Next week is Easter, and we're going to give our very hardworking tech crew and our worship team a break. We're going to rebroadcast last year's Easter program, which was quite a hard-hitting program in music and song, and well worth revisiting. So that'll be broadcast this time next week, and hopefully the week after we can be back together in person. It's looking good, and we will let you know. So the worship night tonight, what time was that, guys? At 7. Okay, so if you want to join in the youth worship night, 7 o'clock tonight, happy Sabbath.